Google recently announced that they're getting rid of Oracle and replacing it with SAP. What does that mean to your ERP software evaluation? I'm going to talk about that here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients through their digital transformation journeys. And Google recently announced that they're switching from Oracle to SAP. And that announcement coincided with a Supreme Court ruling that favored Google against Oracle. Google and Oracle were involved in a lawsuit involving Android intellectual property that ultimately sided for Google at the Supreme Court level here in the United States. So at the same time the Supreme Court made their ruling in favor of Google, Google announced that they were getting rid of Oracle as their enterprise software technology and moving to SAP. So what does that mean to your organization? Does it mean anything? Does it tell us anything about SAP versus Oracle and how to make a decision between those two products? That's what I want to talk about here today. So Google is one of those Fortune 500 organizations that are highly likely to implement either SAP S/4HANA or Oracle ERP Cloud. And most Fortune 500 organizations look at one of those two products. Sometimes they look at others, but those are two very common ERP systems that are considered for those types of organizations. And the reasons organizations at that size and complexity tend to gravitate toward SAP and Oracle is because they are tier one systems that are very broad, they're very robust, and they're built to scale for large organizations. They also provide complete, robust end-to-end business processes that can handle fairly complex organizations like a Google or any other sort of Fortune 500 organization. So when an organization like Google makes a change from one big ERP system to another, that's a pretty big deal because that's a big change, and most organizations don't make that change very often. So this could have been because of the lawsuit, certainly. That could be the key reason why the change was made. But it also begs the question of what other types of functional fit or what other types of technology needs was SAP able to meet that Oracle was not. So SAP and Oracle, although they are commonly used by the same type of organizations, they're actually very different solutions. They're very different companies with very different strengths and weaknesses. And that's what I want to talk about here today is here in the 2020s, what are those key differences between SAP and Oracle, and what are some of the considerations we need to keep in mind as we evaluate these two options. One of the biggest decision points and differentiators between SAP and Oracle is the trade-off between scale and flexibility. And not to say that those are necessarily mutually exclusive or you can only have one or the other, but in general, one product is better at scale, the other product is better at flexibility. And in general, organizations like Google that are very large, that have scaled and are looking to scale even further to become one of the largest organizations in the world, they oftentimes turn to a product like SAP S/4HANA because it's built to be repeatable, standardized, common operating model, things like that that will help scale an organization and provide efficiencies and standardization that will help continue the growth of a large organization like that. Oracle, on the other hand, tends to provide more flexibility. So Oracle tends to be the more flexible of the two. It can also provide some scale, but it is more focused on providing flexibility and being able to modify and tweak business processes and technologies in a way that supports whatever direction you may want to go as a larger organization. And on the contrary, or on the flip side, SAP also has some flexibility, but it's better known for its scale, whereas Oracle has some scale, but it's better known for its flexibility. So whether or not that was a key determinant of why Google chose SAP over Oracle, I don't know, but that tends to be one of the big decision factors that large organizations like Google face. The next thing we need to think about as we're evaluating SAP versus Oracle is the maturity of the cloud solutions. They're both moving to the cloud with S/4HANA on the SAP side and Oracle ERP Cloud, but they're not equal in terms of the maturity of those cloud solutions. Now, to be clear, SAP actually has multiple deployment options. They tend to deploy S/4HANA in either on-premise situations, fully in the cloud, or some sort of hybrid. Oracle, on the other hand, tends to push very heavily into the cloud, and most, if not all, Oracle deployments that we see are cloud-based deployments. And that's not good or bad, it's just the way the two deployment models tend to work for those two vendors, and it all depends on what type of deployment model you're looking for as an organization. But when we look at pure maturity of functional capability of cloud solutions, that's a big differentiator between SAP and Oracle. SAP is relatively new to the cloud. They just 3 or 4 years ago began that journey with S/4HANA in the cloud as an option, whereas Oracle has actually been at it for a long time. They had their Fusion product from about a decade ago, which was sort of a false start, if you will, of moving to the cloud. But the good news in that failed launch of Oracle Fusion back 10 years ago is that it actually gave them a head start to a cloud deployment of a cloud solution. So some of the maturity that you don't see yet in S/4HANA is now available in Oracle ERP Cloud because they've been doing it for longer. So that's another consideration to think about, is really looking at both products and looking at the capabilities you get with the product and what you're not getting, because there are certain capabilities that are missing from both products simply because they're not as mature as the older legacy products, especially in the case of SAP. Now, to be fair, with SAP, it's not just S/4HANA you have to think about. There's other solutions out there that help plug some of those gaps and some of those holes that you might find in S/4HANA. So for example, they've acquired Ariba to address some of the procurement capabilities that larger organizations need. They've also acquired SuccessFactors to provide more depth and robust HR processes for the HCM aspect of enterprise technologies. So SAP in recent years has largely grown its capabilities through acquisition, whereas Oracle has focused more on building some of those capabilities in Oracle ERP Cloud, which is ironic because 10 or 20 years ago, the opposite was true. Oracle was out buying JD Edwards and Siebel and some of these other ERP providers and trying to patch together an overall solution, whereas now they've migrated to more of a flagship Oracle product, now augmented by Oracle NetSuite for the lower small to mid-market aspect of the market. So really look at the capabilities, the maturity of those different systems, and really make sure that you're focused on not just picking the software that you want or that you think is the best fit for you, but also poking holes in that chosen solution and make sure that you understand where those gaps are so you know how you're going to mitigate the risks of those gaps. Now, one of the interesting things to think about when you're evaluating SAP and Oracle is that one of the main reasons why Google said they moved from Oracle to SAP is because Oracle wouldn't certify their product if it was hosted in Google Cloud, whereas SAP would. SAP would certify the product and they would basically allow a deployment in Google Cloud. And obviously that's important to Google since they are trying to promote Google Cloud and trying to become a viable alternative to Amazon Web Services and Azure and some of these other big cloud hosting providers. So that is a big consideration and probably the most eye-opening aspect of this whole decision to move from Oracle to SAP is that SAP has proven and shown to Oracle and other organizations that they have more flexibility in how you can deploy their cloud solutions. And we've seen this with our customer base as well. They don't push you to the cloud necessarily, but when you do decide to go to the cloud, they give you multiple deployment options and multiple hosting options in terms of how you host that solution. And they also allow you to deploy it on-prem or in some sort of hybrid model as well if you prefer. Whereas Oracle is a bit more rigid in the way that they will allow you and certify your deployment of the Oracle technology. So that's something to think about as you evaluate SAP versus Oracle. Now, no matter how large or complex you are as an organization, SAP and Oracle are not your only options. Even though most organizations do in fact implement SAP and Oracle if they're in the Fortune 500 or even the Fortune 1000, there's plenty of options out there. The technology market has shifted and changed and advanced so much that there's a lot of great tier 2 options, a lot of industry specific solutions, a lot of best of breed solutions, a lot of different options out there. So you really want to make sure you look at the cost benefit of implementing an SAP or an Oracle and look at the risk to reward of potentially implementing something else. And you may still find that SAP or Oracle is your best bet, but a lot of larger organizations are finding that some of these other alternative options are more cost effective and create more business value in the longer term. So for example, if you're a manufacturing organization, you may want to consider products like Infor, IFS, Epicor, things of that nature. If you're a healthcare provider, obviously you have Epic on the electronic health record side of things and other types of ERP systems that are built for healthcare organizations. And the list goes on for whatever industry you might be in. There are industry-specific solutions, and there's also functional specific solutions that you could be considering too. You could be looking at Salesforce for your CRM capabilities. You could be looking at Workday for HCM. You could be looking at Microsoft Dynamics for your back office financials. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of different options you have from both an industry and a functional perspective. So be sure you're comparing those options to SAP and Oracle and any other options you may be considering. So if you're looking for more information on how SAP compares to Oracle and how those two products compare to other systems in the marketplace, I encourage you to download our 2021 Digital Transformation Report. That report contains a wealth of information, including system rankings of different systems in the marketplace on the ERP side, HCM, CRM, etc. It also includes a number of best practices for digital transformations and ERP implementations in general. So I encourage you to download that. I've included a link below. I also encourage you to check out many of the other links I've included in the description field below. So I hope you found this information useful. Hope you have a great day.